Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Shalom. Welcome to everybody for another edition of Pause and Reflect. I am Mr. Straight Talk. And today we have a good show lined up. Today was the show that I actually was going to do Monday, but keeping in the same, spirit of Wednesday's show, I decided to switch them around and do this one today, and then I'll start the one on fear on Monday. But morning to you, Keela. So let's get into it. Today's show is called "You Can't Build with Full Hands." Man, what are you talking about, Trevor? You can't build with full hands. So a lot of us brothers are trying to build something. We're trying to build peace, legacy, purpose. We're, as men, we're naturally builders. We're hunters and gatherers. We want to build legacies. We want to build futures for our kids and set our families up in good places. But guess what? We're holding on too much from the past to move forward. Anybody that's building a house will tell you you need a lot of supplies. Morning to the queen of the Straight Talk Society. You need a lot of supplies, but in this life, we realize you can't carry those supplies all at one time. Now, I know growing up, and we still do it now, because hell, if I'm making more than one trip with the grocery, we're going to try to put everything in both hands. But generally in life, you could only carry a few supplies at a time. And for most men, we want to build legacies for our families. We want to build things for our future. We want to set people up, but we can't because our hands are full. What are our hands full with, Trevor? Our hands are full with the burdens of the past. And in many cases, we're trying to carry too much of a load. That's why I always talk about the importance of brotherhood on this show. Sometimes it's okay to ask for help, have somebody help you carry some of this stuff. So this morning I'm just gonna invite you just to release some of this stuff, man. Release the heavy stuff, and let's make room for what's gonna heal you. I want you to leave today knowing that you don't have to carry everything. You were never meant to carry everything. Man, we got the weight of the world. We love to carry everything on our shoulders. But we were never meant to do that. So today we're going to put some things down. But as customary, let's go into the word. And this is coming out of Matthew, the 11th chapter, and we're going to go to the 28th verse. And it's very familiar. Everybody knows this. Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Oh man, we talked about this a few shows ago. The importance of rest. A lot of us are tired. We're so tired. We're just barely getting by. We're struggling by because we're so tired. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Oh man, like I told you, brother, if you're not gonna get one thing from these pause and reflects, you won't get a good scriptural reading. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a good scriptural reading. Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden. Some of us men were so tired, not physically. A lot of times when I'm talking about being tired, I'm talking about needing to rest. I'm not talking about physical rest. We're so emotionally tired. We're spiritually tired. We're building with one hand and dragging the past with the other. I always tell my guys, hey, you can't work on those machines with one hand. You're not getting your full capabilities done. That's how it is in life. That's how it is with men. We got one hand trying to carry everything, and then we got another hand trying to drag all our past burdens, all our past hurts behind us. And again, I had to stress that we weren't built to carry all that. We weren't built to try to shoulder the load for everything. We weren't built for that. That's not how we were built. We like to talk about how physically strong we are, but again, I will tell you that's why men die faster, especially men in our community, because we're carrying too much. You're trying to build, you're trying to build over here while you still haven't closed the deal on your past life. Oh my goodness, bro. One day, well, hey, listen, y'all. If we got it in the chat, we need to get some Bible emojis, because I'm gonna start preaching at some point. Um, we have to. We're trying to build this future here, and you still haven't closed on your past. And we talked about that Wednesday. You gotta learn to let things go. You can't be what you need to be for your family if you're still, again, tipping and slipping, dipping and dabbing back in the old relationships, old things that never meant you any good. We got to learn to move forward to that. Sometimes we got to learn to let some things go. Just put it down. Put it down. The first thing you do when you're going to build a house is you got to set the foundation. And how can you set the foundation in your life? How could you set the foundation in your family if you're still dragging and holding on to everything from the past? You can't do it. It can't be done. It cannot be done. We're still holding on pain from childhood betrayals, guilts, that feeling to need to prove ourselves to everybody. Listen, man, people are gonna feel how they're gonna feel about you anyway. You could be the best person in the world for so long to people. You do one thing they disagree with you, they're gonna drag your name in the mud. So it is imperative that you learn not to try to impress people. Stop having the need to try to prove yourself to people. We live our lives so much trying to impress and prove to people that we aren't really living. We're here, we're existing, but we aren't really living. Most men, we've been in survival mode for so long that we forget what peace feels like. Oh my goodness, man. Somebody talk back to me. How many of you just in survival mode? You're just in survival mode. Everything you do is based out of survival. You can't love that woman because the last one hurt you. So you go into this relationship in survival mode. You go into this relationship already with your next relationship set up because you're in survival mode. You're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. You can't have relationships with people. You can't be a good friend because you're always in survival mode, because everything that hurt you in your past has conditioned you, has conditioned your mind to make you feel like, oh my God, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. No. You got to get out of that survival mode mentality, and learn what some peace feels like. Learn what it's like to actually have peace. You know what it's like to have a peaceful home. Let me ask my brothers that, because I know a lot of them don't. You catch hell at work, you catch hell every day in life, and then you come home to a chaotic place. Man, get you some peace. Get in a situation where you have peace in your life. Choose yourself. That's what I would tell you. Choose yourself. Choose your peace. And then I gave you guys some homework Wednesday, so we're going to give you some homework today. I got a question for you, just to ask yourself, what's in your hands right now that's not helping you build? And again, we're not talking about physical things. Shout out to Ricardo in the building. We're not talking about physical things. What's in your hands right now that's keeping you from progressing? What's in your hands right now that's keeping you from moving to that next level? What's stopping you? What mental block are you dealing with? What traumas are you dealing with? What hurts are you dealing with? What family member that's not talking to you that you're dealing with that's keeping you from moving on? You know, I'm reminded of Jesus and Lazarus when, you know, Jesus came to the tomb and Jesus asked a question. Jesus said, show me where you laid him. Jesus already knew where you laid him. He was at the tomb. He already knew where Lazarus was. But Jesus was saying to them, show me where you laid him down. And I liken that to ask my brothers and my sisters today, show me where the problem is. Show me where the burden is. Show me where the hindrance in your life is. Show me where that problem is why you can't progress. Show me where that problem is why you can't move on. Show me where you laid it. Show me. What's in your hand right now? What's helping you not build? You know, full hands equate to missed opportunities. You can't receive a new vision when you're gripping when you're gripping on old things, when your hands are full of old wounds. You know, you always look at a man's hands. You know, and I like if a man is gonna shake my hand, that it be a nice firm handshake. And some guys, I shake their hands and they got these soft dishwashing hands, we like to call it. Like they haven't experienced life yet. Their grip isn't firm. They don't have much confidence in themselves. Shout out to Captain Nazariah in the building. They don't have that strong firm handshake. They won't look you in your eyes, nothing like that. But then you get those guys, the grizzled old vets. Because I'm a grizzled old vet right now, that has the cuts in their hands. They have the war wounds. Their hands are a little callous. Their hands are a little rough. When they shake your hand, they give you a firm handshake. They look you in your eyes. That's a brother that's been through some things. That's a brother that has some stories to tell. You know, that's a brother with some war wounds. Morning to you, Jackie. You know, God can't fill what's already crowded. He can't bless what you won't release. You know, I know the Christian church has ruined us completely. You know, it's funny, I see Jackie in here. Me and Jackie he definitely has wisdom, Cap. It's funny, me and Jackie were having this conversation, I think it was yesterday, about the Christian church. And it is hey, listen, we're gonna do a I'm not your traditional brother, where we're gonna break down some things. But the Christian church has cultivated a bunch of false sense of reality. You know, this whole name it and claim it and all that other foolishness. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. None of that is scriptural. None of that is scriptural. It's just some crap that somebody made up to fleece you out of your money. But in the scripture that we go to, Matthew 11:28, here you have the Messiah saying, come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. There's your solace right there. There's your rest. That's what he's promised you. Come unto me if you labor, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest in your souls. My God, some of you brothers, your souls are tired. You're tired in your soul. You know, man, you just barely, like literally going on fumes. And you expect to be able to build something. You expect to be able to cultivate something for the future. A woman in church taught me to never shake a hand wimpy. Be confident, young man, and shake another person's hand with confidence. Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, you gotta, you can't build and you're holding on to everything else. If you're gonna build a new house, you can't be bringing in materials from the old failed construction. You're bringing in that material. Now you're trying to carry the material for the new build. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You gotta be able You gotta be able to release some things. You cannot hold on to the things of the past and expect to move into your fullness of the future. And that is what these shows are for. That is what I've been trying to preach for the what am I on, like 15 of these now that we've been doing. It is always to show you, hey, learn, it is okay to let some things go. I know the media teaches you. I know the media teaches us, because we're going to talk about this on Monday. I know the media teaches us that as men, we're supposed to just supply for the family. And as long as they're okay, then there's nothing to worry about. We got to take care of them. We got to work our fingers to the bone, blah, 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 blah. And all the while men are dying. And it's so funny that when the men drop dead, that's when they say, man, I wish he would have took some time out for himself, while simultaneously being the one that he feels like he has to do all this for. Listen, I'm gonna free you today. Listen, I got a couple of more minutes, and we're gonna free you. We're gonna free you today. Let some stuff go. Men, black men are dying early. Black men are leaving out of here in their 30s. And I'm not even talking about just the violence. I am talking about black men are leaving here because of health conditions, because the stress of life has piled up on them so much that their hearts are stopping on them. 30, 40, 50 years old, 60-year-old men are dropping dead. Man, when you hit 50, you're supposed to just be hitting your second stride. You're supposed to be hitting the prime of your life. 50-year-old men are dropping dead because they're trying to carry the entire weight of the world on them. They're trying to carry the weight that they weren't designed to carry alone. As I see the cap in the building, I say it all the time. I don't agree 1,000,000% with what the Israelites say, but one thing they preach the brotherhood, the importance of brotherhood. You're not supposed to do this on your own. You're not supposed to do this on your own. I forget where it was, because I be having all these Bible stories in my head and I don't know where they are. Y'all forgive me. But the Israelites were fighting a war, and every time Moses had his hands up, the Israelites would win. But the minute Moses' hands went down, then the Israelites would lose. And I want to say that it was Aaron and Joshua realized what was going on. But at this time, Moses was an old man and he was tired. He just couldn't hold his hands up. So guess what they did? His brotherhood went and hoisted up his hands for him. That is what I'm telling you. Your brotherhood, you're fighting a battle by yourself that you don't need to fight because you think you need to do this on your own. And I could break this down in the simplest of terms. I got an injury at work a couple of years ago that required me like 30 stitches in one hand. But that was the same weekend that I had planned. That was the same weekend I had planned to lay sod in my backyard. Anybody's been to my house, you know I have a gigantic backyard. 3 pallets of sod I laid with essentially one hand. The dumbest damn thing in the world, but I did it. Why? Because I felt like I'm the man and I'm going to do it. When I let my partners know that I did it, they said, why didn't you just call us? We would have helped you knock it out in a matter of hours. You know why? Because stubborn man, that's why. Stubborn man, that's why. We got a brotherhood. That's why we got the brotherhood. Your brothers are here. That's the community lacks brotherhood. Absolutely. I see Captain put a scripture in there. Let me go back up there. Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that times. Wisdom. Absolutely. Wisdom, bro. We lack wisdom and knowledge. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. Let me move on here. We need to make some space for growth. Let's talk about the power of healing. Again, therapy. I know everybody doesn't like therapy, but I am an advocate of therapy. Accountability. Oh man, I got into an argument with Venkat last night over on the thought box. Accountability. It's time to start holding people accountable and holding yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable for your health. Nobody knows when they're going to leave. I always say that. Nobody knows when their number's going to get called. Nobody knows when their number's going to get called. But I, for damn sure, am not going to help speed the process up. I am not going to speed the process up. I tell y'all, some weekends I'll look at my wife and I say, hey, it ain't going down this weekend. And she knows exactly what it is. She's like, it's one of those weekends where she knows that I'm going to plop in front of the TV with my controller in my hand, and it is what it is. Because sometimes you need that reset. You need the ability. You don't work yourself to death. You know, I'm working 11, 12-hour days now because we're so busy. I'm not going to now go to my peaceful place where it's supposed to be my rest. And if I'm too tired, now burden myself with more stuff. I'm not going to do that. And you know, luckily for me, because I say this, every man doesn't have this in their house, but luckily for me, my wife and daughter are 100% okay with that. You know, my daughter let me chill the entire weekend just as long as I, you know, promise to take her for ice cream or something later, you know, at one point before I go back to work. You know, so it is good. I got, you know, luckily I got that. That's cool. Yeah, even look at that. Even Jesus chose 12 men to help with the ministry. Look at that. I'm telling you, Cap, Jackie, y'all reiterate to the people listening. There is nothing you can't find in the Bible. There is nothing in life you need instruction on that you can't get from the Bible. I am telling you that. Psalm 133:1, behold, how good and pleasant is it for brethren to dwell in unity. Oh my God, I can't wait for the FOG to do that brotherhood breakdown, because the truth of the matter is also, I know that some brothers are snakes. Some people in your circle, you know, we look at coming up now, all these rappers that have died recently, and they go back to these old pictures, and their killers were right in the picture with them the entire time. Oh my God, bro. Cap, let me know when y'all gonna do this. So I get it. I know why you would be leery sometime, but I'm telling you, man, you get yourself around some good brothers, get yourself around some brothers that's doing better than you, that give you something to strive to, get you around some brothers that aren't yes men, get you around some brothers that will tell you when you're messing up, not just applaud your foolishness. That's one thing I don't do. I can't applaud foolishness. That's why, you know, my number one cardinal rule, a man cannot hang out with me. A man can't be in my presence if he doesn't take care of his kids. That's my number one rule, because the Bible calls you an infidel. The Bible says you're worse than an infidel. You're worse than an infidel. You don't take care of your children. So you can't be in my presence like that. We need to start holding each other accountable. That's how this is going to work. We need to start holding one another accountable for the things that we're doing and the things that we aren't doing. Stop being such a baby. Stop trying to pacify everybody. Stop trying to pacify grown men. Don't be afraid to tell your brothers, hey, you're overdoing it. You're going to kill yourself. I see you going into a bad place right now. You're heading into destruction right now. Slow down. Calm down. Oh my goodness. Let me get out of here, man. Listen, man, dropping that weight isn't quitting. It's growing up. Hey, I was a huge weightlifter back in my day, but I realized, you know, in order to complete the rep, you got to put it down. Woof. Oh, what a nugget. It doesn't matter if you pick the weight up. In order to complete that rep, in order for it to count, you have to have put the weight down. So putting weight down isn't giving up. It's not giving up. 2 Timothy 2:2, faithful man who should be able to teach others also. Yeah, we back in that. Okay, yeah, good. We're back in action. Good, definitely. Look at that. Even Ricardo putting in script. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Even Ricardo dropping scriptures in the chat. Psalm 37:37. Mark the perfect man and behold the upright. For the end of that man is peace. Look at that. My God, I feel like I need to have somebody read for me right now. Listen, man, I'm telling you, there is not a thing you can't get out of the Bible. Like, I literally, since I've been doing these, and when I do these, I go to look for scriptures that kind of correlate to what we're talking about. And then when I start seeing all these scriptures, I'm like, my goodness, boy, if people knew that this stuff was in here. Oh man, y'all heard the first bell. So let me wrap up here. We as men, you know what I find helps is is sometimes to keep a journal, just to write, just to write stuff down. And we do it in every other facet of life. You write down your finances, you write down your stuff at work. Why not write about your stuff in life? We need to talk to some brothers. Be honest with yourself. Pray with intention. Ask the Lord for guidance. You're not just building for you, you're building for the ones watching you. And man, if you got kids, listen, man, if you have kids, that should be all the motivation you need, man. When I'm talking to dudes and they're telling me about the struggles in the life and everything, the first thing I ask them is, do they have kids? And when they say yes, then I'm like, man, that's half the battle right there. That's half the battle right there. Because you're not just building for yourself, you're building for the ones that's watching. And in closing, I'll leave you with this. Your hands weren't made. Your hands were made to build peace, not just carry pain. So to my brothers who listening, who's gonna listen, my sisters, today I'm asking you to drop what's heavy and pick up what's holy. You carried it long enough. It's time to build with clean hands and a clear heart. I don't specifically say that this show is a religious show, because it's not. But you guys have caught on. This is where I get to go to the Bible. So this is what I use this time for. I just believe in the Most High. I mean, I know some people don't, and I even don't believe that. When people say that they don't believe in the Most High, because it's funny, the minute they get in trouble, they sure calling on him. I would just say you don't understand the Most High right now. So I'd say you seek him while he can be found. Find out who the Lord is, and I promise you, he'll make your way a little more clearer. It's not going to be easy, because it says in this world you had tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. So he's telling you. So that's what I'm telling you. So Jackie, we really gonna have to break down these churches, these Christian churches, man, because they've lied to the people. They've told the people that, oh, all you got to do is give $100 or 40,000 in this case, that that everything is going to be all right and you're going to be good and you're going to be living on the mountaintop. And I'm here to tell you that that's all a lie. They have fleeced the people. They have fleeced you. They fleeced you into believing something that the Lord never said. The Lord told you that you're going to have tribulation and trial. The Bible says, man born of woman is full of trouble. I think we were all born of women. So I always leave my shows with this: always seek out the truth for yourself, because if not, you'll fall victim to other people's interpretation of it. Seek out the truth. Seek out the truth. Seek out the truth that's written in the law. Seek out the truth, and it'll guide you. It'll guide you. Don't lean to your own understanding. And if you need, and if you got any questions, you ask somebody, more knowledgeable than you. Like I say, Jackie, Stacy, we have these back and forth quarrels almost now on a daily basis over scripture, because they're older than me. And sometimes me growing up, my interpretation of certain things, I realize a lot of stuff that I was taught I need to unlearn. So that's one thing. But you gotta, don't be afraid to ask, man. And if you're a man and you're trying to build something, learn. The first, a good architect, I could bet you he learned from somebody else. Just ask. It's okay. It's okay to ask. God, I even let the last one hit me. All right, I got to get out of here, man. Thank you guys so much for coming through. We'll be back Monday. And we're going to start the Fear series. We'll be back Monday. So make sure and share the video. Let everybody know what's going on. Hit that like button. We'll be back Monday, man. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Friday, man. Hey, brothers, get some rest. Take some time out to rest and start dropping some of that weight. I'll see you on the other side. Peace.